Good morning, everybody, and welcome to Living Large Las Vegas. My name's Kobe Sherlock, and today, back in the lab, Mr. Derek Parent. Derek, say hello to everybody.
Hello, hello.
Guys, today we're bringing a super special guest, somebody that has been a rock star in our community, doing some big things over in Henderson, Miss MARCIE Smedley, who is the Executive Director of Henderson Libraries. MARCIE, say hello to everybody.
Hi, good morning.
So, you know, when we first talked, I met you at a Henderson Mixer.
Yes.
And Henderson Mixers, by the way, are awesome guys to get connected here in our town. And I was really just overjoyed to meet you and hear what you were up to, and I had to get you in. So thanks so much for coming to hang out with us.
Well, thank you so much for inviting me. I'm happy to be here to share more about our libraries.
So, MARCIE, for the listeners, can you tell us a little bit about yourself and your background?
Sure. So I was actually born and raised in Henderson. So I am a local, a native, and it's always been home for me. We did spend a couple of years in San Diego and came right back to Henderson. All of our families here. It's always just been the community, that I've called home. And so it's great to be in a position where I can give back to that community through the work that we do with the libraries. Growing up, I always loved libraries. It was always something that, my mom would take us to one of the Henderson Libraries, which is no longer, a facility that we have today. But it was always just a magical place. You could open a book and kind of enjoy a whole new world, and I loved that. So I had this kind of love for libraries and love for books all along, but never would have thought that librarianship was a career that I would pursue. So it's been an interesting path to get there, and I'm just grateful for the opportunity to be where I'm at.
Well,
Good.
Libraries have changed dramatically from like when I was in school to now.
Absolutely, yes, yeah. I think people. If they haven't visited libraries in some time, they still think it's the same. They still think about books on a shelf, and libraries are so much more about people in our community today than they were in the past. And technology plays a big part in that. People ask, well, are libraries still relevant? I can get everything I need online, but libraries are definitely still relevant. We actually, Gallup put a poll out that in 2019, people visited public libraries more than they went to the movies. So the relevance piece is still there. People come to the library, but definitely we need to get the word out of all of the great things that we do in the community so that we can get more people coming in to experience that.
What was it about you that set in and you were just like, this is what I want to tackle? This is the initiative I'm going to embrace in life and be a part of the Henderson Library?
So it kind of fell into my lap, actually. When I was in high school, I was a shelver at the Henderson Libraries and still, didn't think that would be a career path that I would pursue. So I got my undergraduate degree in communication studies and worked in some different fields and really never found my place. And after we had spent time in San Diego and we came back to Henderson, I said, well, what am I going to do? And there happened to be a job listing at that time at the Henderson Libraries. And I said, oh, well, I'll apply for it. It was a good place to work when I was in high school, and it'll give me a chance to figure out what I want to do. And that position was called a young adult specialist. So I was working with teens and ordering the books for teens, and I fell in love with it. And I just really realized the impact that libraries have on people's lives and how we can contribute to that. And so then I went on and got my master's in library science and worked my way up through the system, and here we are.
That's incredible. Well, tell us, Derek spoke into it. The libraries and even for me too, have changed drastically since I was younger, using libraries with technology and different things that you guys have to offer. Can you tell us a little bit about some of those special programs and things that have really shifted in your experience in libraries and what we have today at the Henderson Library?
Absolutely. So I think we were talking a little bit about how, a lot of people think about the library as a place to take your kids and go to story time. And we absolutely still offer that. And that's a great way to use the libraries. What people don't realize is that we have a lot of resources that span far beyond that. So one of the things that Derek and I were talking about is we have a database called Mergent Intellect, and that really is a great tool for business owners to cultivate market lists so that they can market to people. They can find competitor information and really just learn a lot about local business or about the industry that they are in, and it can support their businesses. So we have business books, a lot of resources that we can offer to business owners. We have a lot of learning for leisure types of things too. We have a database called Creative Bug. So if you are interested in learning a new crafting skill, you can go on, and they're little short videos that take you right through how to create something or learn a new crafting skill. Many of you might be familiar with lynda.com, which is a resource you can sign up for on your own, but the library provides access, if you have a library card, to lynda.com, which is online learning courses in a variety of topics and from, how to use Microsoft Word to how to, marketing for small businesses, all kinds of different classes, how to use Photoshop. So there are just so many resources. I think, really, if you have a need, check with the library because we can probably meet it.
Well, I toured the library. It's a fascinating place to go because everyone in there was doing something different, like the reading room where it's quiet and it overlooks, it has a beautiful look, right? And then, I know you guys actually also help with genealogy.
Right.
So that was fascinating to know, like, as you're walking through, kids on computers and two guys in the back and studying your whole genealogy.
Right. Yeah. So we actually partner with the Clark County, Nevada Genealogical Society, and they provide volunteers that are in that room almost every hour that our Paseo Verde Library is open. Wow. So people who are working on their genealogy, I hear it a lot, I got so far and then I get stuck. And so they can come in and, those volunteers can really help them to do that research and dig a little deeper and really, get over the hump where they got stuck so that they can keep moving forward in it. If they've never even tried to, start their genealogy, they can definitely come in and people can help them with the resources, their databases. We have, so when I was a kid, microfilm and microfiche, we had these huge, like boxes and they were lit from behind, and you would send the film through them. And now it's all digital. You still send the film through, but it's a camera that reads it and it just shows up on a monitor. But we have, the machines to still be able to look back at those old records that haven't been digitized and available in another way.
Funny, because I was going to ask you about that because we used to have the microfiche. You used to get it for newspapers and old articles that you wanted to look up. But there's also another really special place, another special thing about that. When we taught it, there was these young ladies and they speak on science, right? Like dropping a quarter in a cup and, spinning the water and doesn't, just all the, that was amazing. So, yes. I know that's a lot for kids, but as adults, right, my whole leadership group, when we went through it, everyone was engaged in that process right there. We sat and watched and we're like, one time I put my hand up because I thought water was going to come flying at me. But, talk about that. That's a huge, learning element for science that they teach too.
Yes, so we have a lot of STEAM programming, which stands for science, technology, engineering, arts, and mathematics, and that's huge across the nation right now. As we look at jobs of the future, STEAM is one of the areas where we need to educate our students so that they are prepared for those jobs as we move forward. So the library has an initiative that actually works on STEAM education, and we do that for all ages, young children, as with things that are basic like concepts and shapes and numbers and how that kind of ties in, up through older kids and adults. And we've done programs with drones. We've done, the science ones that are fun about kind of those experimental kinds of things. Like, what's going to happen if I do this? And a lot of art classes. We really try to tailor a lot of our programming we call it out of school learning. So it's a more informal environment than a school is, but it still really is looking toward meeting what those requirements are to prepare our students for the workforce of tomorrow. Because that's an important piece that we can play in the community. There are a lot of schools that do have special STEAM labs or different things that they do, but not all schools have that. So the public library provides a place where you can come and access that regardless of what school you go to, regardless of those resources that are available. So that's a great opportunity for students to take advantage of.
And a library card is free.
It is.
It's free, so you can get all these amazing public resources for free. You want to go there and study, it's quiet, you want to go read genealogy, you want to learn something, Henderson Library is amazing.
What are some of the ways that one can get engaged or even get a library card and access information about the library?
So getting a library card is easy. You just have to come by the library. You show a photo ID and proof of address. So if your address is on your ID, that's all you need. And then to engage with the library, there's so many ways. We've found we live in a 24-hour town, right? And so sometimes the hours that the library is open is not really convenient for the hours that people are available to participate in whatever activities they're participating in. So we really have ramped up our online presence as well. We have an app that you can download on, an iPhone or a Google, an Android phone. We, with that, you can access all of our resources and services right through the app. You can download books and movies and music, so you don't even have to come into the library. Once you get that card, if you want to access the library, from wherever you're at any time that you want, you're able to do so with ease.
Wow. They have a nice little coffee bar in there. You get a snack. You don't have to go far if you're reading and you get hungry. There's a place you can eat in there, and everything is they almost give everything away.
For business owners in schools, are there volunteer opportunities to get involved in what the library is up to?
Yes, we do have volunteer opportunities. Any of our teen volunteers, so if you're between the ages of 13 and 17, you can volunteer, with the libraries. And then any of the adult volunteers volunteer through our Friends of the Henderson Libraries. So that's an organization. They're a 501c3 organization that just exists to support the libraries. And they do that through volunteers and through fundraising for us. So we had last year, I think it was about 18,000 plus hours of volunteer time that was given to the library by members of our community, which is amazing and really supports us being able to do what we do because that's a lot of work hours that are coming in that are, volunteers. So we definitely appreciate community members who are willing to get involved in that way.
And I love it. And I think that I'm going to find myself volunteering. I think that's pretty cool what you guys are up to. I'm still amazed by the amount of services and things that this library offers.
Yeah,
truly, it's incredible. And I'm sitting here thinking, like, how can I utilize the database and come in and participate? And I think I just need to get down there and check it out myself.
Right. And if I can just mention too, as far as programming goes, we have a wide range of adult programs also. So we have an international festival line of programming that's cultural programming that introduces people to different cultures, their food, their dance, their, just the history of it. We have a lot of job-focused kinds of programming. We partner with Workforce Connections, and we have one-stop career centers in 2 of our branches. And with that partnership, we are able to offer a variety of resume writing, interview tips, and how to find a job types of classes, which are really helpful to people, whether they don't have a job or whether they have a job but they're looking for a better job. So that's been a great service we've been able to offer in the community also.
If people, it always amazes me. You have all these free resources, and we just really just have to get it out because people are always, looking for someone to help with resumes or research. I mean, the library is not just a place to go and find a book, check it out and read it, right? But the library is actually the biggest resource, one of the biggest resources that Henderson has, right, to give to the public for free.
Right.
I mean, if you truly want to go there, you don't have a computer at home, you want to study, they have them there, and it's such, you guys are such a pillar in the community as far as giving back, right? Because this is one of the only places that I think the only complaint I ever heard about you guys is I think you close at 5.
On some days.
On some days. Yeah, the only complaint I ever heard about the library, right? And it was just recently too. I'm getting my friend had to go to the massage to get his friend had to go there for his daughter's being tutored, and he was like they did it like outside, I guess, because I think they were there at 7 o'clock though. It was like some like late hour.
So we have 3 main libraries, main branches in Henderson, full-size branches, I should say, and then we have a small service outlet in the Heritage Park Senior Center. Our 3 main libraries, their hours differ a little bit, but they're all open 6 days a week. 3 of those days they're open until 8 o'clock, and 3 of the days they're open until 5 o'clock. So we definitely, try to meet that need the best we can. But
So he just picked the wrong day.
He did.
Even though Las Vegas is known as a 24-hour town, our library does close. We do have great libraries here. You can move here and study. You have a great resource to go to, but we close at 5 o'clock because we are not a 24-hour library.
Right. But get your card and use those resources online because you can access those 24 hours.
I didn't know about Linda too. I didn't know about that. That's amazing. I mean, the library just became so. I feel I was sitting here. I'm thinking you guys got so advanced, right? Like the library is something when you went to like I said, to study, but like the advancement that Henderson Library is amazing. I mean, all the programs and job creation and I was honestly blown away when I taught it. Like everything that library actually did. It just wasn't rows of books and people shushing you. It was actually like super friendly people that wanted to help you, right? And I truly was one of the better field trips that we did, as a leadership group.
Yeah, well, great. And we really try to take into account what our community needs. So last year we rolled out a new strategic plan, and it was about a 6-month planning process to get the strategic plan in place. And part of that included community assessment. So we went out and we did telephone surveys, online surveys, we did focus groups, we talked with a lot of our community leaders and really tried to get our heads around what's the most important things in the community and how can we impact that and help be a force in driving things for good in the community in regards to what those needs are. So I think it's important that, people realize that what we're doing is not in a vacuum, that, again, we're not the rows of books, right? That we are trying to be very much in tune with our community and being able to provide the services to meet the needs that they have.
And you guys are funded by the city?
So we actually, the majority of our revenue comes from property tax. So our boundaries, if you will, are the same as the city of Henderson's. You don't have to live in the city of Henderson to get a library card, but our property tax comes from properties that are within the city of Henderson, and that's the majority of our revenues. We do get some from C-tax, and then a small amount from grants and donations and things as well.
So when you guys want to implement something new, it's completely up to you.
Yeah, so we are governed by a board of trustees. 5 of them are appointed by the Clark County Commission and 2 are appointed by the City of Henderson. And they're our governing board. So they are responsible for things like passing our budget and, and approving policies. And then everything else, the administration of the library is really on us. And again, we do that in hand with the community, trying to meet their needs.
I know that we touched on data just a little while ago, but I'm going to tell the listeners on how important that data thing. I'm a guy that's been bought data for years and years and years with mailing and reaching out to people, but the service you provide was probably the best I've ever seen as far as how you can hone in and get different criteria. If they're pet owners, like what type of pet. I mean, it was phenomenal just to see how you can do that. For business owners that are not using that tool, I mean, they're spending sometimes hundreds of thousands of dollars for data when you already have it. So I think that's really important for a small business owner to know that going to the Henderson Library and taking advantage of whatever market that they're in, that is one of the most valuable services that you can do is sit there, because once you get the card, you can log in, you can do it from home. But I also noticed that you guys will help someone to learn how to use the program to go back home for their business, right? So imagine that. It's a free service, free data. They're going to show you how to use it for you to improve your business. And Henderson Library is not asking for anything except get a free card. I mean.
Right. And when we have resources like that, we're paying money to bring them into the community, right? And we want people to use them. So thank you for sharing that.
It's not cheap.
It's not. And we do have people who are very well versed in the databases to be able to help people learn how to use them also. So while you might look at it from home, if you've never used it before and say, I'm not really sure how to put this search together, I don't really know which things I need to identify in the search to be able to pull the list that I'm looking for, and that's okay. You can come into the library. We have librarians who are very happy to walk you through that process so that, even help you develop your list. And once you've got your card in your account, you log in and you save your list, and you can run it every, month or quarter or however often you need to run it, because we'll definitely help with that piece of it. So don't feel intimidated by the, resources that are there if you don't understand them, because we're happy to walk you through them.
The woman that demoed it was just enamored with, she was asking for more. What else you want to cut your words? She's so in like wanting to teach you on how to use the software and come back in, but it was amazing.
Passionate leaders over there.
Yes,
yeah, there are a lot of passionate people.
And we really, I think, pride ourselves on customer service. We definitely have a team who wants to do everything they can to meet those needs of the people walking through the doors, visiting us online. So I'm just grateful to be part of a team that is so happy to be of service and to help our community.
I knew when we spoke that I wanted to know more, and now I'm just amazed really by what really is happening over there. And I can't wait to be one to get involved, as I shared. I love what you said about workforce connections. It's something that in our community as a whole, both City of Las Vegas, City of Henderson, we're all on the same page, and that we're supporting the workforce and getting our citizens connected and looking for new opportunities. It hasn't been long that we talked about workforce connections, planning individuals in both the chambers as well as LVGEA, organizations that are really driving the vision of what we're up to. And look, you also at the Henderson Library are tapped into that opportunity for citizens. Sometimes in my experience is that folks don't have a place to start. Of course, the need for a job is there, or the desire to grow is there. And you guys offer a place to start, somewhere where guidance can happen on the front end. I think it's incredible.
Right. And it was a really important move. I think when we first partnered with Workforce Connections, the vision that they had to really expand where they can offer their services. So they had their one-stop career center that was out on West Charleston, which is not convenient for someone who lives in Henderson. If they're working, an 8-hour day, if they're taking a bus, how are they going to make it out there during regular business hours to receive those, kind of career coaching and counseling services? And so when they had that vision to spread it wider in the community and approach the libraries, it just seemed like a natural fit, because why wouldn't we, give up some space in our building to create this opportunity for people in our community and to play a role in being able to, provide those services in a place that's accessible and easy for people to get to. So it's been a really wonderful partnership and has really provided a lot of opportunity for people in, right in our communities. It's a lot easier to get to your neighborhood library than it might be to get across town on a bus or something. Yeah. So it's been we've seen a lot of response from the community. We've seen a lot of engagement with people coming in and taking advantage of those services. So it's great.
We talk about creating responsible, citizens through both supporting and the job growth, but also, creating homeowners. And what I heard you say is you're funded by property tax. So I promise we're doing the most we can on our end to get you guys some more money and create home ownership in Henderson. It's a direct link.
We believe in property tax.
Yeah, absolutely. And anything we can do to help get folks paying into it only is going to create a better community, which of course will support entities like the library. I thought what you said about more people going to libraries and movies. Wow, that's incredible. Right. And that shows that even in this time with the economic, growth that we have, that civic engagement in a way is still alive and growing. And I think that's really special to hear from your perspective.
It's exciting to see. Libraries are funny because everyone wants to measure their use or their kind of success, right? Like how are we impacting the community? And for years and years, libraries have always measured that number through the amount of books that have checked out. And as we see that shift where people are using, online resources and they're coming in to use the space, it's been a challenge to really figure out, well, how do we measure, how many people are using us? Because we can't just rely on those numbers of people checking out books, because we have so many people walking through our doors who are not checking out a book, but they're utilizing the services in another way, or people who are downloading materials online and stuff. So that's been a little bit of a challenge, but we do see that we have door counts, that how many people are walking through the door, how many people are attending programs, and those numbers just continue to rise. So it's good. It's good to see that, and it's just a reminder that as many people as are using the library, there are still so many people out there that don't understand all of those wonderful resources that we have. So great opportunity to be able to share that.
I mean, they have audiobooks too. So they have great audiobooks on history, sales. I mean, there's audiobooks too. So if you want to go in there and download an audiobook, you can do that.
Are they accessible online as well?
They are, yes. Yeah, and that's the way I get most of my reading in these days, is listening in the car, because, it's hard sometimes to find the time to sit down to read a book. So it's nice to have that opportunity to download it right to your phone and listen to it in the car. And
it's one of the most convenient places to get information is the library.
I would say probably the most convenient place after hearing everything you're sharing, honestly. I mean, it's like, why aren't folks, everybody should be there and at least utilize some piece of it to help grow their individual self here in Las Vegas and, of course, in Henderson. Tell me this, any exciting things coming up that folks should be looking out for, any events or anything they can get involved in coming up for the library?
Yes. So right now we actually have a community read going on. So we're inviting everyone in the community to read the same book, and it's called In the Midnight Room. The author's name is Laura McBride. We have many, many copies available for checkout at the library. We've got kits that are book club kits that you can check out for your whole book club. We've partnered with coffee shops and have them out in the community that way. And then the author will actually be speaking at our local author showcase on March 28th. So pick up a copy, download a copy, read the book, and start talking to your neighbors about it. Hopefully they're reading it too. And then you can come in and listen to the author on March 28th. We have a series that we're doing right now that's a lot of fun too. It's the Hidden History of Nevada. So from February through May, we have a lecture each month, and those topics are all focused on some of the kind of unknown history in Nevada. So we've got early settlers of southern Nevada. We have someone coming in from the Mob Museum to talk about the mob history in the area. Mark Hall Patton, the Clark County Museum administrator, and we see him on Pawn Stars a lot. He'll be talking in May about how Lake Mead was formed, the person that Lake Mead is named after, Elwood Mead. And
he's a fascinating guy.
Is, yes. And so we're really excited to have him. He's got some great stories about the history. And so I guess there were some towns that were covered when Lake Mead was formed. So some really interesting information. So that's a fun one to look out for as well.
That guy, you see, smart guy.
Obviously, playing a big part of the historical aspect. When is that he's coming?
He'll be in May. We have the program that he's doing is in May, and I don't know the date off the top of my head, but on our website, it's there.
And what is the website for the library?
HendersonLibraries.com.
And any contact phone number they can reach out to you at?
So they can call, the main library at 702-492-7252. We'll get them in touch with the libraries, yes.
All right. Well, I tell you, I really appreciate you, Marcie, coming in here and taking this opportunity to share with us, both for the listeners and us, as individuals and supporters of the community. I did not get a chance to tour the library, but I'm absolutely looking forward to coming down and checking it out. And guys, if you're listening, I'll see you there. I hope. I think this is really incredible. You heard, straight from Marcie of all of the individual services and the really unique parts of the library that you probably didn't know about that offered. I remember, when I was a kid, we had, reading programs in school, ARP. We had to get certain points. And I'll never forget, there was always a summer reading book that at first I dreaded, and then I really learned, mostly because my dad enforced me to go and read, but I really learned to love that opportunity. And I spent many a days in the Chalmette Library right outside of New Orleans. And my dad would go there, he would take me and, of course, have me finish my summer reading list. And that helped me to continue on and continue to love to read and, of course, take me through college and such. But my point is, when it was that time for me, it was just about checking out books and, of course, doing very minor research there. I remember the encyclopedia collection they would take us to if we had questions. And you have, really provided something, so far in advance as to what you guys are up to. I think it's special. So thank you so much for joining and really all the work you do and, of course, being so willing to come and share with us.
Thank you for having me. I love being able to share about what we do, so thank you.
We're going to have to do a to be continued, I think.
I think about, if you really want to get involved in the community, you can tour any facility that you want. Like, you can tour the library. If you want to be really ingrained in part of the community, though, you can tour anything out here. Anything in Henderson, like City Hall, the police or the library, all the public works. There's a lot of amazing things in Henderson that a lot of us don't take advantage of, and the library being one of the biggest ones. So, I really appreciate you being here. I was just fortunate enough to tour it, a couple of months ago, and I was really fascinated. So, it's a great place. And if you haven't been, I would say go get a library card. And, whether if you're just going to read or you want information for your small business or you're looking for something for your child or, because you guys offer some tutoring stuff in any.
We have a lot of online tutoring, and then we have some homework help in our branches as well. But yeah, there's a product called Brain Fuse, and that's live online tutors that I know I'm dreading when my daughter gets a little older because they learn things so differently in school today than we learned, right? And so I think sometimes parents can only help with homework for, up to a certain point, and then it's just beyond what the way we've learned it when we were kids. So yeah, we have it's an online tutoring service with a wide variety of hours that they're available, and they tutor on subjects all the way up through high school and into even advanced learning as well past that. So that's a great opportunity for, parents who need a little bit of help for their students that are struggling in school.
One that's always been kind of near and dear to me, my heart, was adult illiteracy. Is there programs that will help, someone older that, I think a lot of times a lot of people, they're a little embarrassed, right, about reading levels and so forth, or lack of GED, right? Like, is there somewhere that someone can go to get the help with their GED when they're of, an older age, or even a kid that dropped out of school that regretted it later, right? And they wanted to go back to school to get their GED. The library helps with that.
So the library does. We have partnered with different organizations that do that to bring some of those services into the library. So we've worked with CSN, College of Southern Nevada. They call it now high school equivalency. So they offer what's HSE classes. They've done those out of the libraries. We've done some ESL classes, English as a second language classes with them.
ESL, I saw that the other day.
Yeah, so we really, one of the initiatives that came out of our strategic plan under the out-of-school learning strategy was around adult learning and how do we support that as well. So we definitely definitely, have some partnerships that we're working on and that we already have established to be able to support those needs in the community also.
I think the myth like 20 years ago was like, if you got a valet job in this town, you make 80 grand, so why go to school, right? So that was kind of like, that's when I first got here. That's what some people, they would fight to try to get that valet job because it paid so much money. But now, like, it's different. Times have changed. Like the library's changed, data's changed. Everything changes, right? So now that job may not be 80 grand. But, the library is a great resource for somebody that wants to further their education. It's a great place to start. It may not be the end, but I know it's a great beginning for anyone to go and further their education. Start with the library.
Right, and I would encourage people that all the time. So our little tagline is Imagine, Discover, Connect, and I think that connect piece is so important because not only do we want to connect with the members of our community, but we want to connect those people with the resources that they need wherever they're at in their journey in life, and connect people in the community with each other too. So definitely, whether we can provide the actual resource that you need, if we can't do that, we can put you in touch with the right organization to help you.
Yeah. Personally, I just think that holds a lot of people back is, the lack of education, lack of reading to go to that next level because the self-confidence is just not there. So the library will help. I think the library will help you a lot with self-confidence, with building that and using. If you put a couple hours a day into something, you're going to get a lot of amazing stuff out of it. And it's a great place to start for most people. So I encourage anyone, get a library card. What's it? It's free. Pick up a book. If you can't read, ask. There's a lot of resources, people that will actually help you. But I was really fascinated with the ESL program that you guys offer. That's another one that really wasn't around when I was younger. So thank you.
And I think it's important to note too that the library is one of those places where it doesn't matter where you're coming from. Like everyone is welcome. It doesn't matter, if you have a doctorate in, literature and you've read, every piece of literature known to man, or if you've never picked up a book before, it doesn't matter. Anywhere between that, it does, you are still welcome. There's still resources and ways that we can, assist you with whatever it is that you are looking for. So,
well, real quick, foreign language, is there opportunities in foreign language as well?
We do have a lot of resources for foreign language, and we offer workshops a lot of the time too. Right now we have an American Sign Language workshop going on, so you can learn American Sign Language. We've done Italian, French, Spanish, a lot of different language learning classes, and then we have a lot of those resources that you can download as well.
You cover the gamut, really.
We try.
Well, I tell you, obviously, guys, check it out. You heard it. One more time on the website.
Henderson, it's www.hendersonlibraries.com.
And of course, it can't be made easier to go and get a library card. So if you don't have one in your wallet or you don't have one at all, go and get it, scoop one so that we can continue to connect. I love that. Connect at the Henderson Library. Living Large Las Vegas, guys. Thank you so much for joining us. Thank you so much for everything that you guys are doing. Really, it's super cool. Derek, sounds like you and I need to go to the library.
Yeah.